Murder on the Orient Express is directed by Kenneth Branagh and also stars Kenneth Branagh alongside like Daisy Ridley, Michelle Pfeiffer, Willem Dafoe, Josh Gad, Johnny Depp, who else? Judi Dench. Like, it's just probably one of the most star-studded casts I've ever seen in my life. Definitely one of the best casts of the year, and it's based on a book by Agatha Christie, which is about this detective called Hercule Poirot, played by Kenneth Branagh. And essentially what happens is he goes on this train and someone dies on the train and he has to find out who the murderer is. And that's basically all you need to know going in. And going into this film, I wasn't super excited or anything because, to be honest, Kenneth Branagh as a director isn't anything mind-blowing. I mean, he directed the first Thor film, which I thought was just meh, and you know, there were some like cool shots and, you know, action scenes and stuff, but I thought the star of the show was really the script and also the acting, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston. But anyway, Kenneth Branagh as a director hasn't really like blown me away in the past, but when I found out that he was directing another film, I wasn't super excited, obviously, but when I found out about the cast and the guy who wrote the script, which is Michael Green has had an insane year this year. He co-wrote Blade Runner, he co-wrote Logan, he co-wrote Alien Covenant, which was, yeah, but still, and also he worked on American Gods, which is like one of the most unique shows currently on TV. And so Michael Green and, you know, the cast got me really excited for it, and the trailers look pretty great as well. So what did I think of this film? It was really good. This is a film that you should go and watch because it is good. It is a solid, entertaining, 2 hours, something like that, like an hour and 50-minute film with some incredible performances, and it's also one of the most beautiful films of the year. This year, 2017, I think will go down in history as probably the year with some of the most beautiful films ever. I mean, we already have Blade Runner this year, and Kong Skull Island, and Atomic Blonde, all absolutely gorgeous films. Planet of the Apes as well, Wonder Woman, Valerian, so many beautiful films, and you can add Murder on the Orient Express to that list because this is a gorgeous looking film. Some of the wide shots are breathtaking. You should go see this film just for the visual aspect alone, and the music, so the score is actually really good, especially towards the end where like some of the more dramatic stuff happens. The score does a really great job of elevating the scene, and we'll talk about the story as a whole just a bit. So Kenneth Branagh actually did a pretty good job in terms of directing this film. And to be honest, I think this is where we run into our first problem, which is the fact that at some points it does feel like he's more focused on, you know, how this shot looks, how cool can it look, than what it actually, you know, means, what the shot could convey. And what I mean by that is there is this one very particular scene in which they find the body of the person who is murdered. And the entire scene is this long take scene which is sort of shot from above, sort of like a Quentin Tarantino style God's eye view. And I felt like that took away from the tension of the scene. I feel like if it had been sort of more close up, you could see the faces of the character, it would have felt a little bit more intense and dramatic. Another example would be this tracking shot when all the characters first get on the train, and it's sort of, you know, tracking all the characters walking from outside the train. And when I was watching that scene, I was like, if I had directed the film, I probably would have preferred to have the camera inside of the train. But, you know, it's just different. People have, you know, different styles of, you know, movie making or whatever. But at some points I did feel that it did sort of detract from the intensity and the drama of the story. But there are some really, really incredible long take scenes. I think that the use of long takes in this film make it feel a lot more relaxed and, you know, calmed and really chilled. But at the same time, the script and the acting make it feel a little bit more intense and, you know, makes you feel that something just isn't right. So now I guess we should talk about the acting. It's really good. It's really, really good. Kenneth Branagh as the main character, Hercule Poirot, is really, really good. I love his French accent. I thought he did a really good job. But I would say the two best performances in this film were Josh Gad and Michelle Pfeiffer. Both these actors have some of the more emotionally demanding moments in the film, and they were so good. But then again, it is Josh Gad and Michelle Pfeiffer. They're incredible actors. Daisy Ridley is also really good. Willem Dafoe is really good. All the acting is really good. Judi Dench also really good. And Johnny Depp is also pretty good in this film. It's the first time you see Johnny Depp actually looking like Johnny Depp, which is always nice. And, you know, there's just something about seeing Ray, Catwoman, Green Goblin, and M, and like Jack Sparrow in the same room, and it just feels cool, and it, you know, it gets you going really. I guess my biggest problem with the film is the second act. which is weird because with a lot of films nowadays, especially this year, my biggest problem with them have been the third act. A lot of films this year haven't been able to nail that third act. Planet of the Apes being one of them. The third act of this film is incredible. It is one of the best third acts of the year in my opinion. It is so dramatic and it is so incredibly emotional. In fact, the scene where you find out who the killer is so masterfully executed. I mean, Kenneth Branagh, I was like, mate, you can direct movies. I mean, that scene alone, so good. But after saying that, I'd have to say that the second act is pretty boring. There are just a lot of dull conversations that, you know, may not have had to be in the film, and I don't know, I just feel like the second act, it could have been done with a little bit more fast pace and energy, because I thought the first act, and especially the third act, were so good. Another problem that I have with the film, and this is my last problem, is that the characters in this film are introduced in a very sort of casual way. I mean, if you look at some of the best detective films, let's use Seven as an example, David Fincher's masterpiece. The mystery starts at the very beginning of the film, and then we get introduced to the characters, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. And we learn about their characters as they are sort of trying to uncover this mystery. And I feel like you know a character best when they are under pressure, when they are sort of in a vulnerable position. And when you introduce your characters in such a casual and sort of seamless, careless way, you don't really get a taste of what the character is really like until the, you know, shit starts to hit the fan, really. And so I just wish that it had begun with the mystery and maybe sort of flashed back to the beginning of the film or something like that. I think I would have preferred that. But anyway, Murder on the Orient Express is a really fun, really enjoyable, really intriguing mystery with a really satisfying payoff. Has brilliant acting, some great directing, it's brilliantly shot. The music is great, and I'm going to give it a B+. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm really glad that I got to see this film so early. I'm pretty sure it doesn't come out in America for like another week, which I guess is another sort of benefit of living in England, I guess. But yeah, this was a pretty good film. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you.